Okay, now we're going to call you guys Team Miles. Of course, Miles is your team lead, so let's go ahead and call you guys Team Miles, as we have basically have named the teams after the team lead. And basically, I just think that's for a lack of a better naming process or naming scheme. I just decided to use the team lead to identify your team. So Team Miles it is. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Volkswagen contents page. Meet the team page, work in progress. That's of course to be expected. Problem analysis, stress of car buying, absolutely. Now you jump into a problem analysis and you just give it really one sentence of the analysis, but you want to tell us why. Why is it stressful to buy a car in this country? Then you say the purpose for the vehicle configurator. So you don't really define the problem analysis. You just give one brief little statement, and then you jump into the benefits of the vehicle configurator. And now I would recommend that you really detail a very, very robust problem analysis, because you think about the way that somebody's going to look at this project. They're going to ascertain the merits of the project based on the problem analysis. So you have to give a really, really detailed problem analysis. Now, we know that there's a lot of stress involved in buying a new car, right? But why? Define the stress, identify the stress, and give examples of the stress, okay? And that right there, the problem analysis, is based on the stress associated with buying a new car. So we really need to define, enumerate, and give examples of that stress. Then you can go into what I would call a solution. So we know that there's a difference between what you're identifying as a problem and giving the solution. So this second, the first sentence is the problem analysis. The rest seems to be pointing to a solution. So my recommendation is to give a very, very, very robust and detailed problem analysis. Then name a solution. Then start talking about how the vehicle configurator will help this problem analysis. You say a kiosk will help build trust with the customers, allowing them to have a physical idea of what they're committing to. Well, I mean, I'm not real sure if that's part of the solution, because right now a customer can go into a vehicle, I'm sorry, to a dealership and take a look at the vehicle. So the kiosk isn't offering something at this point as defined. It's not offering anything that's not available to go into the dealership as you know, right now as it stands. Okay, so we really want to offer the viewer an insight into how the solution for the vehicle configurator kiosk is going to address some of the issues defined in the problem analysis. I think this is underdeveloped, guys, and the reason I say that is that this is a critical page. This page right here is going to really set up the foundation for the success of the project, and I think it's very important, because as portfolio reviewers, or eventually hiring professionals, look at your portfolio, look at this work, this page right here is going to identify their understanding of the project. Therefore, it's going to identify and define their analysis of the project, so to speak, okay? So really want to get detailed on this page. Let's move on to research. Volkswagen market research, excellent, guys. Process, methodology, and design thinking. This is good stuff. This is nice research, good stuff here. How object has fixed change. So I kind of want to get back to this page a little bit, because now you're saying the problem analysis, there's a lot of stress that follows along with buying a car, right? So my recommendation is this: you're saying the purpose of the vehicle configurator is to help customers see the product and all of the options they have that are available to them. That's true. But this problem analysis page, to me, isn't identifying deep dive. It's not identifying HCD. And the reason I say that is because we need to take a look a little bit deeper than the obvious problem at hand. The obvious problem at hand is, yes, the stress associated with buying a new car. The solution isn't, guys, listen up, this is important. The solution is not to develop a kiosk that will help visualize the car, okay? That's not the solution. The solution is, think deep dive, guys. We are attempting to change the way customers buy automobiles, okay? We're not designing a kiosk to assist We want to change the whole process. That points to deep dive, guys. That points to HCD. Okay, where in HCD, we are not ever confronted with a situation where we have a design task and we take care of it. That is not HCD. HCD is looking at that task. Okay, deep dive immersion is looking at your task, identifying the larger problem at play. Okay, big picture, and addressing that. Okay, Miles, you had the example of the mousetrap. Okay, so the mousetrap, your firm or your team is hired to design a better mousetrap, right? So what do we do in design process, traditional design process? We start designing a better mousetrap, right? But as Miles identified last week, in human-centered design, deep dive immersion, HCD, we don't approach it like that. We don't say, okay, we got to design a better mousetrap. No, we start with the problem. How did the mouse get into the house in the first place? That's where we start, with the bigger problem, okay? And guys, I don't mean to be sounding like I'm harping on this, although I have been talking about it for several minutes, but it's critical to the success of the project. So I really want you guys to think about the deep dive immersion as it relates to the bigger problem here with buying automobiles, okay? All right, excellent research, excellent. Now, we come into how the object has fixed or changed the situation. Another way of pushing innovation is to use the virtual reality. You're talking about augmented reality, virtual reality. This is all good stuff, guys. It's all great stuff, but we really need to identify the bigger problem. And that is the way that how do we address the bigger problem? Let's jump over to sketches. Now, this is where I do have some comments here because there are some missing elements in your presentation as it stands. So we are looking for this. For this assignment, we are looking for, where is it? Right here. So for the critique, we have designed the main home screen. So this is for the three best ideas. So each home screen should be designed, right? But they're not. You've got sketches kind of identifying your ideas, but for each of these, we need to design the home screen, and so design the main home screen, list the three key features of your interface, sketch each main screen. Okay, so the main screen, you're giving an idea of the sketch, but the main screen here, the main screens aren't sketched out. Additionally, we have create digital compositions of wireframes for the three best ideas. We don't have that either, guys. These aren't wireframes. These are basically scenarios. These are not wireframes. So you guys know the difference, right? I know you do, because you've all turned in wireframes for the last project, right? So I just want to reiterate that there are some things missing here. Okay, so listen, guys, this is not an easy process, all right? This is totally foreign to what we're used to. So if you guys need help, please get with me, all right? I'll be more than glad to help you out in exactly what is due. And again, this is a really good example of submitting on Wednesday to get feedback for Sunday's final submission. All right. Unfortunately, we don't have that luxury this week, seeing that the initial post wasn't posted by Wednesday. So let's take it from here. So we have the touchscreen. Yes, touchscreen. So what I want you guys to start thinking about is the bigger picture. All right. So right now, these sketches just seem to be that we are designing a kiosk, right? So I don't see these sketches or their descriptions as really approaching the bigger problem. We're not jumping into HCD yet. We're not doing a deep dive immersion yet. Right now, it seems the team is still kind of stuck on designing a kiosk, all right? So what I want you guys to do is start thinking about things that you can add to the kiosk, okay? A drive simulator, right? A questionnaire that allows the computer to generate the best suggestions for models based on your driving habits, your physical stature, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so there's many different ways we can do this. Let me give you a scenario just for example. Okay, so one of the teams decided they're going to design an interface. The interface is available at the kiosk in the dealership, but it's also available on a mobile app. So you don't have to go to the dealership to design your car. You can do it right on your app. On that app, and this is all in their process and in their plans. So you configure the car on your app or at the dealership. You send that information from your configuration to the dealership if you do it remotely, right? So then you go to the dealership and you want to enter their kiosk and see what the car looks like. So basically, at that point, they have the information sent to the dealer. The dealer, you get to the dealer, you go in the kiosk room, and you punch your code in that they send you, and it loads all your information. And then we have a holographic projection, or a 360, maybe virtual headset, something where you can see a projection of the full size car and do a 360 around it. All right. Then you can start making different changes in the configuration. All right. And the whole idea here is to send that all to a simulator where you can simulate the drive based on your choices. Okay, so when you're in the car and you've got oversized tires and you don't like the way that the simulator is working, change the tires, drive it again. All right, then you can also change the weather conditions and all sorts of different things in the simulator. So we're really, really removing the problem from the equation. And the problem thus far seems to be the pesky, annoying salesperson, right? So basically we're reconfiguring the way that the whole process works, eliminating the middleman until we need them at the end, and that is to make our final decisions and to move on to financing. Other examples could be including a calculator, finance calculator, allowing you to determine what percentage of your total income your new car is going to cost you. You can determine a resale value based on how many years you think you're going to have it, how many miles you think are going to be on it. So my point here, guys, is to really start thinking about the big picture here. Okay, remember, this is not just designing a kiosk. We're after bigger and better things here. Bigger fish to fry, so to speak. But these are good ideas, okay? We just really need to start implementing other ideas and features here, okay? We got the holograph, we've got the projection screen, touchscreen. Now this gallery walk, guys, I'm a little concerned about this because basically this isn't configurator. This isn't digital. I mean, this to me seems like you walk into a room and there's pictures and maybe even models of cars. And that's great and everything, but we need to tie this in to functionality. Okay, so the gallery walk isn't really, I mean, is this, I'm not, let me see real quick. So I think it's hard. Yeah, there's a panel and selections for each model. Customers can see the physical color shift the body would have. Yeah, that's a great start. It's a great start to get a historic idea of the vehicles and to get an idea. But we really need, Autumn, we need to take this a step further and actually decide how this ties in with the configurator. Does the configurator tie in with a drive simulator? Does the configurator tie in with a holographic projection? Does the configurator tie in with VR goggles, augmented reality? That's what we want to start working in, guys. Okay, and then we have our digital wireframes. And again, I had mentioned these are more scenarios. These are not wireframes. So a few missing elements, guys, but I think you're off to a good start. So I'm sorry I took so long. I just really, really want to reiterate the importance of the problem analysis and the actual functionality. And reiterate the fact that we're not just designing a configurator, we're designing a whole program, a whole system here to change the way folks really think about buying cars. Okay, sorry, pushing 14 minutes, didn't want to do that. Questions, comments, concerns, clarifications, any of the above? Team Miles, please get with me. But all right, good job, guys. And again, I think that the most important thing to reiterate at this point is to please let me know if you have any questions. All right, Team Miles, thank you very much.